This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building a cool-looking and professional website. Nothing better than on a cold Tuscan winter, and start off your day with a cappuccino and 3 pastries to get the metabolism going. Today, I'm out to answer the question, can you still find an affordable dream home in Tuscany? I'm taking my hunt to the beautiful hilltop town of Castiglion Fiorentino, one of the few remaining hidden gems in this part of Italy, where we'll explore the old town, discover its delicious culinary treasures, and tour 3 dream homes for sale, 2 gorgeous historical apartments in the historic center, and a rustic village home on the hills. Andiamo. Buongiorno, welcome to Castiglion Fiorentino, a gem built on a hill overlooking the Val di Piana. In my opinion, one of the most underrated hidden gems of Tuscany, where you can still find accessibly priced dream homes. We're here today because I found 3, but also because I want to show you that this is such a beautiful town with lots of history that's worth it just on its own. Let's go explore. The hilltop town of Castiglion Fiorentino is located in the region of Tuscany on the road connecting the city of Arezzo to Umbria. It's a medium-sized town with about 13,000 inhabitants, and its cityscape breathes history and culture. We're starting our exploration of the town from its northward-facing gate, Porta Fiorentina, the main access into the town through its defensive medieval walls. This brings us onto Corso Italia, a main street lined with restaurants, shops, and where one of today's dream homes is located. We're instead going to veer left to have a look at Piazza San Francesco, named after the eponymous church which dominates the square since the 13th century. Of particular beauty is its Renaissance cloister, once used by the Franciscan friars who lived here. We're in full St. Francis territory between the provinces of Perugia and Arezzo, where the legendary saint and patron of Italy set up the first Franciscan friaries. Continuing our tour upwards, I discovered the charming Via della Badiola, a little street with picturesque homes that will make you take your camera out of your pocket. When I think Italian dream homes, I picture a street like this. So Castiglion Fiorentino has a very interesting history regarding its name. Castiglion, big castle, Castello, Castiglion, Fiorentino, Florentine, meaning belonging to Florence. But before that it was Castiglion Perugino, and before that Castiglion Aretino. Why? Because, as you know, in central Italy, from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance, every city was its own mini-state, and they were all battling each other for control of the mini-towns in between their bigger cities. And so, before changing hands from Arezzo to Perugia, it finally ended up in the hands of the Florentines of Florence, and the name has stayed that way since. So I've finally made it to Piazza del Municipio and the landmark Logge del Vasari, a Renaissance loggia bearing the stems of local noble families. But the real highlight here is the views it gives you onto the valleys below and the Collegiata di San Giuliano, which is our next stop. The church, which began construction in 1840, is the most characteristic landmark of Castiglion Fiorentino's cityscape. It's an imposing neoclassical structure and one of the most important in Tuscany. The inside is both majestic and solemn. Columns, 3 naves and barrel vaults, all joining at a luminous dome. The church is also full of some of Castiglion Fiorentino's most notable artistic heritage, such as the 13th century crucifix of the Arezzo school and the Madonna and Child enthroned, an altarpiece by Bartolomeo della Gatta, completed in 1486. But let's now head back outside. This city has been continuously inhabited since the Neolithic, Etruscans, then Romans, all because of its strategic high point above the fertile valley. Let's check out this castle. The defensive tower of the castle, built during Perugia's possession of the city, dominates the hill and rests on the oldest inhabited area of Castiglion Fiorentino. This is now a relaxing city park, perfect to sit down in and to catch your breath while admiring the views of the Tuscan valleys below.
So I wanted to give a shout out to and tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. They're an online website building platform which allows you to build a beautifully designed website with zero programming experience. You start by choosing one of their beautifully designed templates or going through their design AI technology, which builds a website based on your needs. Whether you're a photographer, a designer, a vlogger, there are perfect websites for every single purpose. You then choose the font and the color palette which best matches your brand and customize it by dragging and dropping your photos onto the website to make it your own. You're also able to open a web shop to sell your services or your online products with ease. So go to squarespace.com/JustDreamItaly for a free trial and use my code JustDreamItaly to get 10% off the first purchase of your website or domain.
So we've made it to our restaurant today for lunch. I've chosen La Piana, right in the heart of Castiglion Fiorentino. It's Italian cuisine with a Tuscan flair. It's the winter, and so I'm on the hunt for comfort food, something that warms you up and warms up your soul. Let's try it out.
All right, so we're down in the cantina where I'm going to be having my lunch, and I'm here with the chef Michele and owner of the restaurant, who is glad to tell us a bit more about what we have here.
The name of the restaurant is La Piana because the street where we are is very flat.
And it's one of the few flat streets in town. Everything else goes straight upwards, right?
My kind of cuisine is typical Tuscan, but a little bit revisited. I usually said I make what I like to eat.
The first dish is kind of an amuse-bouche. So, courtesy of the chef, this is a fried chianina meatball with truffle mayo. Just as a meatball should be, soft, but not mushy, very well spiced.
Il primo è un formaggio pasta morbida ai 3 latti. È di Castiglion Fiorentino, si chiama scacchiera, crosta fiorita, puoi mangiare tutto, anzi è davvero gustosa per l'esterna.
This is a very strong cheese. You're supposed to eat the rind as well. Goes well with the apple. It reminds me of a Limburger cheese. Very intense smell of cheese on this one.
Il secondo si chiama Antani, formaggio vaccino, è una similfontina stagionata 6 mesi.
This one is much sharper, but the explosion of citrus flavor with it really complements it perfectly.
Il terzo che trovi è un pecorino di grotta, bello stagionato.
An aged parmigiano with pear. Ottimo, ottimo.
A chiudere lo Stilton. Quindi rimaniamo non solo in Toscana perché la nostra idea è di dare insomma un excursus abbastanza variegato.
And last we'll try with this jam on the Stilton. This is a Stilton blue cheese. So people from England who have been watching my channel, one of your cheeses has made it on Just Dream Italy. This one's sharp. This is very sharp. If you're in the blue cheeses, this is like the top of the mountain blue cheese. So this is a really cool plate. Normally when you have pappardelle, they're kind of like fettuccine tagliatelle, a bit wider. But in this case, they've filled it up, and so they have to roll it up, and it has this very nice rose shape to it, and it's doused in this beautiful cream here. This is gonna be a special experience. So if you've ever had a homemade egg pasta, you know that it's a bit thicker than like a regular store-bought pasta. This is homemade, so they stuff it with their meat sauce, and you can taste just by the texture, which remains al dente, a bit better, I think, than the store-bought kinds. This is divine.
E da lì si deve la morbidezza della carne, se tutto va bene.
Sì.
Cotto con sangiovese e pepe per tantissime ore. È la ricetta, diciamo, tradizionale del peposo alla fornacina. Il purè è sotto.
So this is true winter comfort food. Stewed beef in wine and pepper. The pepper warms you up, it kind of gives you that spice, whereas the wine gives it a bit of sweetness as well. On the bit of pureed potatoes, this is just something else.
Cake con biscotti alle arachidi sbriciolate sopra, piuttosto che la base noi lo sbricioliamo sopra, e caramello salato fatto.
You can already see it's very fluffy, very light. I want to say it's almost like a mousse, like cheesecake made out of mousse, as opposed to like a classic New York style cheesecake, which is very much like a dense cake. This is very light, very fluffy. So we've made it to the first property of today. It's these 4 windows above my head. This is a palazzo from the 1600s, and the property is the 2nd floor apartment. Key in hand property. So you buy it, you don't have to do anything. It's being sold partially furnished. What's special about it, I think, are the ceilings and the historic state of the building itself. So the asking price is 140,000 euros, and I think you'll be really interested in it. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. This is the type of property which you don't come across so often, I feel, in Tuscany, and so that's what makes it so compelling. Let's go inside. So just to note, this beautiful palazzo, which the apartment is in, is probably from the 16th century. You can see the stone steps going up. These are the original stone steps. And on one of them, you can kind of see the insignia of a Renaissance medieval order. So we're on the 2nd floor, so it's a couple of flights up. As you can see, the door is brand new. And throughout the apartment, everything is new and up to the standards of a recent renovation. So you walk in, and immediately to the left is where we have the bathroom. This is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and 1 living room apartment. So there's 3 separate spaces, and the bathroom is what you immediately come in here to the left. That's where you'd also have the washer drying machine. But going straight forward brings you into the biggest space of the apartment. This is the living area, the sitting room, the kitchenette. What stands out is the luminosity of it, because you have these 2 big windows letting in lots of light from the facade, but also the ceilings. These are called volte a padiglione, which are very typical of noble buildings from that Renaissance 1600s era. To this back wall is where we do have the kitchen. It's a gas stovetop. The cabinets are gorgeous, and the stovetop itself is in excellent condition. This is renovated just a few years ago, and everything is in really pristine, in a pristine state of maintenance. The floors are tile in this herringbone style, kind of a wood style. But let's head now to the windows on this back wall. These are the ones looking out onto the street below. As you can see, beautiful green shutters on a yellow facade. And looking out, we can see the neighboring historical palazzi around us, also most likely from that same period, the 1500s, 1600s. And looking to the left, that is the Porta Fiorentina, which we entered into the town from at the beginning of our tour. So we're in a prime location. Very nice. So we'll close the windows here. You can see there to the left, that's the heating on the wall. So the property is heated by gas heating, and everything stays nice and warm and crispy during the winter. Walking here leads us to the other space of the apartment, and that's the bedroom. So the same ceilings, volte a padiglione, with a generously sized bedroom, also beautiful painting, beautiful lighting, and the same, let's say, quality of renovation here as well. But now let's head back outside. This was property number 1. So we've made it to the second home that we're seeing today. It's the first floor above me, but it's only these 4 windows. I think that one's the windows of the stairs. This is a less expensive apartment than the first one that we saw, but it is in this historical palazzo. So it's an apartment within a palazzo as well. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, with a living room and kitchenette. Asking price is $110,000, and so a very unique, let's say, very unique characteristics for this type of budget. I especially love the fresco that's on the ceiling. Very, very high ceilings. Let's go see. So this palazzo is located on the other side of the historical center with respect to that first apartment, right near the Collegiata, the big church that we toured before. The facade is from the late 1800s, although the building is most likely medieval, perhaps a Renaissance origin. It was renovated by a noble family to be a noble residence in the 1800s, and that reflects the current style. So we'll see throughout the entryway and the stairs these kind of noble elements of that time period, but also in the apartment we'll see that there's some elements remaining. So this used to be a big noble residence and now has been separated into various apartments throughout its various floors. So we'll come up the stairs, and I want you to note that the stairs are beautiful, right? They have these noble elements. This property is really interesting, and one of the reasons that I chose it is, of course, you have this price of $110,000, but you're in this noble context, right? And so that's unique. That's something you don't really find too often. This is the floor where the apartment's located on. So we go to the hallway, and the door into our apartment, which is a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 living room like the other one, it's right here to the left. So we walk in through the door, and we can go in 2 directions, or right or left. And so we'll go left first because this is where we have the living space. As you can see, the spaces are going to be very similar to the spaces we saw in the other property. This is where you have the kitchenette, the living room, dining room, all into one. Very high ceilings, as you'd expect in a structure like this. Also, the floors are very interesting. These are a sort of semi-granite floors which have been painted to give it the historical appearance of what they would have had. And the high ceilings with the framing going all around it and that beautiful decorative element in the middle. Looking out the window, you can see we're on the street here. Just really, really cute. This is a really cute apartment. It's like a miniature palazzo. You're in an apartment in a miniature palazzo. Really beautiful. So this is the street going around the historical center. You can see that one street going up. That will bring you straight up towards the back of the castle. We'll close the windows. The apartment is in a totally nice state of maintenance. Perhaps not as pristine as the other one. You may need to paint a few walls, clean up a few things, but completely livable and in good state, especially for the price. This is where we have the bathroom. So we have the shower, toilet, bidet, and sink here. And also where you would have the washing machine would be there. And so now we've entered into the bedroom, the other big space of this apartment. The bedroom has the same style of floor as the other room that we've seen. 2 windows letting in plenty of light. You have a heater, so it's heated by gas. And the most interesting element of this bedroom, along with the property, is the frescoed ceiling. So this is the original frescoes that were put in by the noble family. These would be presumably in all of the ceilings in all of the rooms. This is the one, of course, we have access to in our own. And they're the typical scenes, the bucolic scenes that you'd get in the frescoes from that time period. So that covers the whole ceiling. This is the bedroom. I hope this tour gave you a good idea of the space. Okay, so for the third and final home, we went up on the hills around Castiglion Fiorentino in this beautiful hidden village up in the middle of nature. We're up basically in the mountains, probably around 500 meters above sea level. So the air up here is very, very fresh, very, very refreshing for the lungs. I must say I really like it up here.
You're isolated from the world, surrounded by olive groves in the middle of nature. So this is the third home. Let me give you a look around this little village. They also call these borghi here in Italy. And that's basically the name that's given to little villages, especially when they're historical. So we come up the road this way. You do need a car to get up there, of course. I really doubt there's any regular bus or public transport that'll bring you up here, though I'm sure Ubers or taxis can make it bring you up here if need be. But here we are, of course, in the winter. I imagine during the summertime, this has got to be spectacular. Also because you're up on the mountains, and so you're farther away from the heat, right down in the valleys. So this is, I think the whole village was probably built right around the same time by one particular family who owned the land. But now, of course, there are different owners for each one of the properties. These are the properties that we're going to be seeing today. So a bit of a breeze, though it's not too cold. I must say for a January day, it has been worse these past couple of days. And this is peace and tranquility at its max. So these, just look at how beautiful this is, this complex of homes. These are the homes that we're going to be seeing. So there's one entrance that way and another entrance there for a smaller home. The asking price for the bigger one right over here is $160,000, and it can be bought separately from this one. I have to confirm the price for that one. I'll add it in the voiceover since I don't know it off the top of my head, but we'll be seeing them both. Did want to show you just how cute it is down here. Check this out. It's a really typical village, as I imagine. In the past, you'd have kind of like donkeys bringing up your gear back in the days when you wouldn't have cars, automobiles, and it would have been filled with animals, livestock. But now it is definitely the type of home where it's your own getaway. So let me take you inside to see the final third property of today.
So this home is 108 square meters total, and it's divided between the two floors. As we look in here, this is a pure rustic Tuscan style. More rustic than this just does not exist. You have a beautiful, really big fireplace, which is usable. That's where you would be cooking your stews. You'd be warming yourself up. And here to the back, we have a window. This gives you a look out the back. At the end of the tour, we will be down there at the bottom, so I'll show you what this back facade actually looks like. But you have a view down onto the hills and the green around you. Just a really beautiful space. You can see the ceilings with the revealed beams. We have terracotta floors all throughout the property. This is a really spectacular property. The electricity currently isn't connected, but we have enough light during the day where you can see this really atmospheric air to it with the shadows coming through, the lights coming through the windows. I really enjoyed being in this space. Just a really charming cottage that we'd have here. As you can see, that back wall, there is a fresco on the wall in that beautiful arch with the stone revealed. Here to the left is where we have the kitchen, the angle of the kitchen. Perfectly usable in this rustic style. You have this bar going across, which you can keep or you can remove depending on your taste. It fits well there. And going up to the top floor, we have this wooden staircase. Very nice as well. So everything is in wood, brick, and stone in this home. So up here on this floor, we start with the bathroom. So it's a bathroom with a shower, no bathtub here. There's a window there in the back letting in plenty of light. And down the hall to the right is bedroom number one. This is a very
nice sized bedroom. It's a very big bedroom. You can see on this top floor as well, we have the beams and the bricks on the ceilings, the terracotta floors, and some really gorgeous, charming, antique furniture here as well. Here's a look out the window. We're one floor up, so we have a bit more of a view out there onto the countryside. And this here is bedroom number 2. Once again, a very big space. You have 2 big bedrooms in this property. This property is really a country retreat. When you're here, you are in the peace and tranquility of a village which has a couple of stable residents in it. But you're up in nature, you have your olive groves around you, and you just have peace, tranquility, and fresh country air. So anybody who wants a piece of Tuscan tranquility, this is the home for you. So we're heading back down. This is the first property. There's actually 4 properties in the end in today's tours, but this is the first one of these 2 rustic cabins.
Then we also have this unit, which is part of the structure, sold separately, smaller, but really beautiful.
The asking price for this one is $90,000. So for the one we just saw, $160,000. For this one, $90,000. It's a bit smaller. You walk in, this is the kitchen, dining room, living room, all in one. You can see the same rustic countryside feeling to it, right? Here in the back is where you have the fireplace with the chimney going up, and it's decorated still, right, with the historical pots and pans that would be used in a country home like this, and a more modern kitchen, let's say, but still in that country style. So this is petite, actually very cute, and we have wooden stairs going up to this top floor. Just to note, this property and the other one are being sold separately, but they could also be purchased together, and by purchasing them together, you would have, obviously, perhaps the possibility to have a discount on either price, right? Of course, everything is negotiable in Italy for property, but of course, just by the very nature of buying both, you could perhaps get a significant discount. So anyways, this is the look out the window from the top here. We're in the bedroom, and the bedroom has this bathroom here. So this is a small bathroom. You probably would have to modernize this one for sure. You do have a shower up there, so it's this kind of singular space for the shower, toilet, and sink. We're not done yet. We're going to head downstairs. As you can see, this is the view of them from above. We still have more to see here around the back.
But we're not done yet because there's still the downstairs tavern and an extra room. So coming down this way, you'll see there's a path that wraps around the building. This is an extra room down here, which is part of this smaller property.
So this 90K property, it wasn't just what we just saw before. It wasn't just that living room and the upstairs bedroom. This is also a small studio, let's call it, down here, with space for a bed and a bigger bathroom, a fuller bathroom. So you can see 90K, and you have the right to this space as well. We're right below that previous property. So this is the bathroom. You can see it's a bigger shower, a more complete shower, whereas that one upstairs is probably most useful for the toilet and the sink. We'll head outside. You can see this is the stairs and a pathway. This is actually a road for cars that can come up here from the back. And so this is another way to access these homes. It's so peaceful and tranquil up here. There are a few stable residents, so it's not isolated during the winter. There are people who live up here, and it's a great little community. So this is the facade from the back. You can see this property here on the left is the one that we just saw, and now we are heading to the downstairs part of the first property. So the one for 160K, this tavern, let's call it the cantina, belongs to that. And this is such a unique space. This is a real, wine cave down here. You have a gorgeous oven where you can make bread in. You have plenty of space for wines, olive oils, a bit of a workshop down here. This is a spectacular space, which is shouldn't be overlooked when you're evaluating a home. This is really, really nice. And it doesn't end. We have this second part of the space here. Plenty of shelves. You got the typical chairs going all the way around the walls and a couple of old wheels there on the walls from old horse-drawn carriages, perhaps. So great space. This is probably where you can hang your homemade sausages from the ceiling. You can age your cheeses, and you can experiment with whatever you'd like down here. This is also where you have the boiler. So this is the property.
So guys, what did you think about this episode? What did you think about these 3 inexpensive homes in Tuscany, beautiful Castiglion Fiorentino? Like, subscribe, comment below. If you're interested in working with a buyer's agent to buy your own home in Italy, write to me, Marco at JustDreamItaly.com. Check out our website, www.justdreamitaly.com. And finally, if you're interested in following a renovation in real time in Tuscany, follow me on Patreon. I'm renovating a home in the historical center of Arezzo. Patreon members, love you guys. Everybody else, ciao. See you soon.